Skoot Moesby, man. Earn your spot before earn is your spot, baby. We out.
I just wanna fly away, fly away, fly away. And I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you when I needed to be, and you were my biggest inspiration. You were my motivation. You were everything that I seen in me. You did it before I did. I should have listened before you died. But instead, as a young man, all I want to do is argue with you about where I was going. You told me to go to college. I felt like you wouldn't let me be me. Me and you had a fallout. And then I found out that you weren't going to be here tomorrow. And all I could think about was the tears that I shed that one time. That one time, and that one time made it feel like a lifetime. That lifetime felt like eternity. That eternity felt like my depression was going into an abyss. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make myself feel better. I didn't know if my family would understand where I was coming from. When I walked down to watch you in that casket, all I could remember was how you felt. The day that I told you that I wasn't going to do what you asked me. The day I told you you would not be here to watch me succeed. When I told you that I'm turning my back on you. After everything that you've done for me, I have to now apologize. I don't pray as much as I used to. Because praying is like me praying on the weak. I don't want you to feel like you were weak, so I stayed to myself. And I don't know if I'm going to make it till tomorrow, but I do know this. I've grown up, and I think you'd be proud of the man I am today. I just wanna fly away, fly away, fly away.
We back though. We still here talking about how battle rappers should be branding themselves more. Um, I got a 3SK T-shirt, for example.
I
The
also have a 3SK t-shirt.
I
Shout out to
love it.
3SK.
I actually have an ECW hat to go with it. Took me like months to find an ECW hat because like you can't buy them anywhere. Only
Right.
Paul only Paul Heyman ever had them. They didn't even sell them. You had to like get one from Paul Heyman himself. So I
Right.
found some dude that sold me one. But love the shirts. And that's another thing, something that like I'll rock out in public because I like ECW. That's a play on the ECW logo. It looks nice. You just gotta like make clothes that people want to wear. Don't just necessarily do a little bit more than just slap your name on it. I see that like someone like Hyde, he's out there creating a literal brand for himself right now with Alter Ego clothing. I don't know if you've seen
I've seen
Alter
that.
Ego yet, but
I've seen that.
yeah, no, Hyde's out here creating like a whole brand. Stuff
Oh,
like that is what people I feel like should be doing.
yeah, but then I mean, like, I'm all about, you know what I mean? Like, I try to go everywhere and support everything, you know what I'm saying? If I can, you know what I mean? And, like, the Rainmakers have some really good stuff too.
They
Like,
do.
they have a
They
lot of.
do.
I was, you know what I mean? I was like, man, like, they got trays. I mean, they got trays now. They're going
Yeah,
all the way.
they got the lighters, the trays, the whole nine yards.
You know what I mean? So, you
And
know what I mean?
I feel
I
like
like
they
to
should do
see.
more subtle stuff with their logo though. Like I feel like they put the big logo on the shirts, but they should do like a small Rainmakers logo on like a pocket tee or something like that.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was thinking that, like, maybe a
Because they got a
polo
nice
shirt,
logo.
like
The
have a
logo's really
small,
nice. They
yeah,
just
like
need
have
to.
a
I feel
small
like
little polo shirt. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
exactly. Like a little polo shirt would be fire with like a little embroidered Rainmakers logo.
Oh yeah, no.
They wear that to
That,
like press conferences for the battles, like a face off or something. Someday we're gonna get to that point. Now that you
yeah,
or
I
us
mean,
on
well,
camera,
look, I
we're gonna
thought
be
you
having press conferences.
I thought Game Changers should put Game Changers on bandanas and rock them on their arms. You know what I'm saying? Like just
That would be fire.
you know what
Game
I mean?
Changers needs to get merch going because it's a easy enough name to make a million different like merch ideas out of.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like. I mean, personally, that's what I like to see in better. I like to see, you know what I mean, everybody like doing their thing, and like you look at some of the standout stars. You know what I mean, people who didn't realize that who can be like for instance, I look at a lot of the like Bacon, for example.
Yeah.
Like Bacon, that like that again, and the way he's formatted. He's formatted logos and the way he had like he could have so much, and the way he's rapped up to this point, his logo would make so much sense. And you look at like some of the guys that I look at, and I go, yeah, man, like this is the kind of like thing I want to start doing. But like I have to, you know what I mean. First, I feel like I got to get better. Like me, I have to get better in the ring. You know what I mean? Like I have to have more of a presence in the ring. And even
Yeah.
though I know people want to battle me, and I know like there are people who like what I do, I feel like there is another evolution in Skoot Moesby, the battle rapper.
Always another one.
And once I get to that, like once I feel comfortable with that, then it's like, all right, because like let's do this, because I'm still Premier Rap Battle League, and everybody should know that I am Premier Rap Battle League first.
Shout out to Premier Rap
That
Battle League.
John, you know what I mean? The whole stack over there, like that's my home. That was where I got the second chance. That's where I got to like climb the ladder a bit and see, you know what I mean. John has always been able to talk to me at events and been like, yo, this is how you should be monitoring yourself, and this is what you should be doing. This is how you should be taking matchups, and you know what I mean. Like, and that was how I was able to get from, you know, uh, just one league to three.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
because I battled Dystopia in ECCM, now no
Yeah, I was
coast.
gonna say you guys should consider seeing if you can get the because Bill was saying you guys can get like people could ask them to get their old battles from ECCM uploaded to the No Coast channel. I feel like that one would do pretty well. Although then you would lose the views that are currently on it. That is the downside to it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a part of it
But
for me.
people put a lot of stock into views, I feel like, and
Man,
I've seen battle rappers that I personally can't stand that get like almost a million views on battles. So like,
but that's to the marketing of them.
no,
Like
and
you,
I feel that you can use that as like a benchmark for like I'm this marketable, like I'm worth X amount of money because like this is what I bring in, and I get that. But at the same time, like you could be getting 10 million views and not even be good at battle rap if you if you had the right formula to promote yourself in a way during your battles that made
but you
people
get
want to watch.
but you get paid.
Yeah, true.
You
You
get
would.
paid. That's
You get
that's
paid
the
good money too, probably.
that's the that's the beauty. Like if we're looking at let's take smack battlers, right? The only reason why people the reason why they can charge what they charge on the local level, right, is because they have made it to a certain plateau. They bring in a certain amount of views that the league needs. For views matter for the league sense, not the battle rapper. The
Yeah.
battle rapper gets paid off of what the league is willing to pay them off of the views that they get. So if we're looking at it from the league standpoint, yeah, as a battle rapper, you need to take note of that because that's how you're gonna get the big battles. That's how you're gonna
Yeah,
get the
that is true. Because I mean, if you're only getting like 5 views a battle, that
mm,
should also indicate to you that you're doing something wrong, though.
well, right, but then it's also like on a local level is who you bring into the building.
Yeah.
We're not, you know what I mean? Like I believe that what really
Yeah, but
makes
by that token, S Dot brings the most people into the building out of any battle rapper that I've seen by like a large number too. Like not even like a close competition. That dude brings like 40 people with him. That
Bacon
so
used to
like
do that too. I remember Bacon used to have like a whole lot of people. Most of them were
really.
yeah when he
I've only ever seen him pull up to like ECCM events, so he's always solo at the ECCM events. I never
yeah
make
I
it out
mean
to the
as
full
of
three
recently
events.
I've seen him I remember I seen yeah with Dystopia man he was solo but like when he first came in like 413 he had like he stacked out the place. You would think there was like a school bus full of like bacon heads. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like the bacon bits. You know what I mean? You just seen
Yeah,
a bunch of
fake.
them coming around.
I believe it. I mean, if you're a likable person, people will come out and watch you do whatever.
But that's where it's at. You know what I mean? Because someone
That's
like
why people come out to. That's why SDAT can get so many people to come out. I mean, yeah, some of them are probably related to him, like people joke about, but like,
well, if you look
he's
at it,
a funny guy.
well nowadays, if you look at it like in the local, it's like how many thousands. It's not even millions. It's how many thousands you can get. Like
Yeah,
I even as a battle rapper have not cracked 1,000. You know what I mean? So there's something off. You know what I mean with
yeah,
what I'm doing, and I can definitely admit that. But like when you're looking at it, like if you look at Reckless caught Reckless wasn't really a promoter like that, but he caught 1,000 views.
yeah.
So since his tryout, actually, if you look at his tryout with Lyric Lee, you should go watch that. That's like one of his best battles. Him and Lyric Lee caught 926 or something like that. You know what I mean? His battle with Benson is damn near 1,300. If you look at the battle with him and Scripture is a classic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like him and John Blaze is at like 2,000 or something like that.
Yeah, John Blaze actually
crazy
does
number.
some decent numbers though. Like, despite what anyone might want to say about John Blaze, and despite the fact that me and him don't always see eye to eye, he's a solid guy when it comes down to it, and he does some pretty decent numbers. He might not be everybody's favorite battle rapper, but when it comes down to it, he always shows up with 3 rounds, and he does numbers. Like, not
Oh,
the
no,
greatest numbers, but he's consistent.
I mean, me and John, I still want to kill John Blaze. You know what I
That
mean?
that
I
could be
feel like,
pretty good. I fuck with that.
you know what I mean? I mean, Reckless already did it, which is why the battle is not gonna happen. So I,
Yeah,
I can't battle dead niggas. But I'm just saying,
yeah,
if he was still alive in battle rap, I would
yeah,
definitely take him. I mean, and then
yeah. No.
I think one thing I'll say, the last John Blaze battle I really watched, right, was him in Scripture, and he got robbed. Let's just keep it
I
100.
felt like his first scripture though was pretty fire.
There was
His
only a
first
one
round.
round.
Oh yeah, yeah. So then
Well,
I felt like his round was pretty fire. I don't know. I can't say that he won that one. I haven't watched it back in a while, but he did the whole like lift his soul, levitate him thing with like the scripture flip or whatever.
yeah, no, he had so much. He
Like
said,
take
like
his
the
soul
McKenzie,
heaven's weight and
the
lift him up,
the the,
levitate him.
the Jalen McKenzie line was, you know what I mean? Like when you're looking,
Yeah.
when you're looking at it as like, to me, Scripture has won a lot of battles that people don't. I don't feel like he gets credit for like, because somewhere along the line, you look at Scripture and you go like when he battled DP,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He won. Or you look at um him and Josh Smith, he won. You look at um there's a lot of battles that but Scripture again was one of the like even him and C4. Him and C4 that one round it was crazy debatable. Is why I wanted to battle Scripture in the first place. I was surprised I got Scripture so early because I walked up to him when I was like, okay, when I wanted to battle Scripture, Reckless was about to battle him, and I remember I was like, so Reckless showed me the video of Scripture, and I was like, yo, what? I was like, who is this kid? And he was like, yo, he's dangerous. And I was like, yeah. So when we started preparing, I had who did I have that? I had K Demption that night, and I was like, man, you got to go in. And that was one of the best. Like to me, that was like one of the best Recklesses I've seen ever. You know what I mean? And like,
Was that on the
I
judges card or was that on the
no,
it was
that
like
was
Uprising or something?
it was on
It
an
was a
October
2 day
card.
card, right? Yeah, it was like a 2 day
Yeah, yeah,
card.
yeah.
You guys were on day one, yeah, because day two of that card was Bosco and Ace Vegas, and that was the only battle that happened on day two.
Right, 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 right,
Because
right.
like everybody no showed day two. Day one was fire though. I
Yeah,
remember
like and like you know what I mean. Like me and Reckless got to
that was like
stand
the
up.
third local event that I had ever been to or something like that. Like one of the first like local events that I remember going to was that one. That one was fire.
Right. That's why I'm like, yo, man, like look at Reckless. You look at like someone like him in Scripture, and you look at that back and forth. You look at that debatable, that heavy debatable. Reckless wins. You know what I mean, obviously, but if you that was one of the best battles I've seen. And Scripture's had a lot of tough opponents, and Scripture brings the best out of his opponents most times. Most times when you battle Scripture, you're gonna bring the best you possibly can because Scripture is nothing. There's nothing to play with. You know what I mean? And then I think that's why it's hard to when you look at someone like me and you look at me versus Scripture, you look at records versus Scripture, you look at I think those two battles set up how people really battle Scripture. Like that's how people have been battling Scripture since. If you've seen a battle with Scripture, you can see that nobody can take those angles again. The hypocrite angle, nobody can take the hypocrite angle again. Nobody can take the black research the black angle again. Nobody can do that like I do that. You know, especially the way I did it with Scripture. The metaphors are insane. If you look at me and Nino, like Nino, I didn't. Nobody's ever gonna make fun of Nino for losing twice better than I did. Hollis did it in his battle, but I did it better. The Rick Ross scheme, you know what I mean? Like that Rick Ross scheme that I did with Nino. And you look at how that scheme and how I was like, yo, you lost twice. I mean, I make fun of the way he breathes in that battle. I make fun of how he's 0-2. You know what I mean? And the bars that come after that, like, I don't think anybody can. When I go into someone's history, I dive into things that nobody's gonna see, so I can bring those things to the forefront. You know what I mean? If I and that's the battle's gonna be. If I think the battle is gonna make sense, like the battle makes sense for me to do that.
Yeah.
But most times it doesn't. Like had I stuck to my game plan with details, I feel like I would have been fine. I had 6 different rounds for details, and I went with the ones I didn't remember the most. You know what I mean? Had I with the ones that I knew. You know what I mean? That's where I was like, damn. You know what I mean? But like shout out to details, man, because I do like details. You know what I mean? Like, and me and Good Bars, I had a whole, like, I literally just finished spitting my round outside in the parking lot. So to get on camera in front of 40 bars and everyone and not be able to remember pissed me all the way off.
Yeah,
dude.
I can imagine, dude. It happens, though. Everyone has an off night. Everybody, I can't think of too many battlers that can honestly say they've never had a bad performance. Like, even on the top tier level locally, like, a lot of those guys can say, okay, there's been at least one performance that I've had where I was not up to what I wanted to be at. Like, Wes when he went out to We Go Hard, or maybe like Hyde when he battled Real Sick, or like it just everybody has a bad performance and they all come back from it. And like notice I just listed 2 guys that are like praised in New England. They're 2 of the best dudes in New England. So if even they've had, a bad performance, it's gonna happen to everybody regardless. Nobody's perfect. And it's really about how you bounce back from your bad performance that I feel like shows like your grit and where you're really at. Because some people have a bad performance, and that's the last time they battle. Like, I take Chris Casey, for example. That dude was like, they were really pushing him. They were really pushing Chris Casey. And then he had the one bad battle against John Blaze where he was kind of acting like a baby, and he didn't, like, get through all of his rounds and whatnot, and now he don't battle.
Right. I mean, well, if you look, like, I think that's, but see, it's hard to come back because I say when I after battling details, I think everybody could see the disappointment in my face that night.
Yeah.
Like I was ticked off, not because I felt like all right, I hadn't been on Premiere since the Mark Black battle that didn't drop, and that was the last time Premiere saw me. So if you're looking at like, all right, me and Good Bars wasn't good. Like my performance wasn't up to par, right? And that was the top of the year. By March, this is where like this was the first year I really pushed myself to battle more than twice. Right? So I had 7 battles in 2019 and I think 6 of them dropped. So you're looking at like me and Good Bars and me and Mark Black, the judges was phenomenal. I feel like that was one of my best performances ever. Me and Nino was right after that. Then me and Dystopia. Okay, so it was 5. Then me and Details towards the end of the game. I was supposed to battle Wise Uzumaki.
Yeah, I saw that. That could have been pretty fire. I like Wise.
I like Wise too, but he would have died. Like Wise at that time, the Wise Uzumaki at that time would have died. because that Wise was going to approach me in a way that I don't think would have worked. The Wise now I'm more afraid of. He'll still die, but I'm
I've
more
seen
afraid of him now
Wise
though.
grow a lot in this shit because I judged his debut on Premiere when he battled Ali Noah. He didn't win that, but that was the closest battle that I've ever judged actually, as far as points wise on my points system. They were within like 2 points of each other or whatever. Definitely the hardest battle I've had to call. I know I've had to call some battles that I didn't even want to call. So like he definitely
It was debatable. It was really debatable. But
yeah.
again, like you're looking at we're talking about like Wise. Me and Wise would have battled. I would have beaten him. It wouldn't have been close. And that's because one, when I feel like the opponent is worth dying, they die.
Yeah.
Scripture died. Dystopia. He didn't die, but he definitely lost. When I wanna come out to play, and I feel like I'm like, ooh, like you know what I mean. Especially when you're giving me a look like the main event, I feel like that's when my teeth get sunken into my opponent to a point where there's no way I'm losing. I can't stress it enough when it's an opponent that I want. I really want, and I feel like Wise at the time. I wanted Wise because if you get Wise out the way early, you know what I mean. You don't have to worry about him. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean. Plus, I feel like that's, but see, for me, that's me going. I know Wise is gonna be fired, and I'm gonna kill him now because then when everybody goes, oh, well, Wise, I already beat him. He's no, you know what I mean. He was. If I took him now, I feel like I have more of a fight.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he could beat me, and I don't think like Ben Superior. I like Ben Superior's pen. I
That would be
don't
a
think
fire battle.
I
But the
don't think
question
Ben
is,
could beat me.
you don't think that having the home field advantage though on King of the Five gives Wise a little bit of an advantage? I mean, I feel like
No,
that
because
crowd probably rides pretty hard for him because he set up a whole league for his own city. Like he runs a whole
that's
league in his city.
that's true. But one thing about see, me and Reckless always feel like we're on the away team. I don't think we've ever felt comfortable because when you're looking at like when you're looking at Premier
Yeah.
Rap Battle League is the closest thing to Boston you get.
Yeah,
But
they
if you look at um if you look at the way Premier is set up, if you're going against a favorite, like if I was to battle JW, shout out to JW. If I was to battle JW, which I was supposed to, actually I took Nino over JW.
smart move.
Um, I took Nino over JW, but I no on the super card. This is when Chiller and them was the. But if I was to battle JW now at Premiere, he would get way more. I'm still at the disadvantage. I'm the away team here. Like
I don't know. I feel like with JW and Premier, they like he's still got to like come out and really put on because like people still remember the AP battle and people still remember like I put out like the roundtables that I did like a week before that battle. He had like a 5 minute segment in that where he's just like, yeah, AP's nice, but he's gonna die though, like for like 5 minutes, and then the AP battle actually happened and it wasn't like that.
right,
So I
but
fuck
if
with
you
JW heavy. He's one of my favorites, but I
JW
still
JW right now is going if the trajectory he is going to be someone to really be watching later as far as the way Max is concerned. He said it. I do believe that eventually he probably will become the new face of New England. I think
he
he
might.
can do that.
If he can consistently bring us solid
But
JDY rounds.
to the main point though, because I believe that heavy in JDY, I also know killing JDY is a lot harder to do. I can't like AP he got a mediocre JW. But if you get a
Yeah.
JW, I mean a real JW, the one thing that will change is that one, he is more. We're looking at popularity. He is more popular than Skoot Moesby. That's just a fact. We're
Well, he can
not.
captivate a crowd. Like his crowd control is A
Oh,
plus.
but I proved. But see, that's the other thing. I proved I can do that twice. Nino in the boiler room. That was Nino's crowd.
Yeah, facts.
That was
Facts. That's
Nino's
his league.
crowd.
He's
That
one
was
of like the
that was
top dudes in that league.
he was he was the top rookie. Don't
Yeah.
boast him that
First
high.
off, they're all rookies in that league. I mean, for the most part. Eh, No offense to the league,
Well,
it's a
at
great
the
league. I
time,
fuck with the battles.
before the jump, if we're talking before the jump, yeah, like everybody was moving. So you're looking at like the people who were there in the inception of the boiler room. They had three top stars, three Adverse, Skaz, and Iraq. So Nino does not fall into that skill level of category.
No, I
Period.
feel you. I didn't know that we were I didn't know that Iraq and Skaz were actually considered boiler room roster. I knew they had
At the,
performed on
ti-
some of the cards.
at the time, but at the time they were
Okay.
they were, but they moved again. They moved, and I don't know, but that was something that
Battle rap rosters get convoluted anyways.
right, like Nino at the time, but that was Nino's crowd.
Yeah.
When we're looking at the home style advantage, Nino had it all. Nino had the crowd. He had the way he wanted to be introduced. He had, he had it. That was supposed to be his. But when you're talking about like when I walk in there and I battled him, so his crowd, it was his people, his mom. His mom walked up to me and was like, "Yo, you're the better battler." You know what I'm saying? Like when you like, I don't, I can't make this up. Like,
Yeah, that's
like,
Nino's mom.
to Nino, mom. You know what I mean? Like when you're saying it, like I think Ant is more dangerous than Nino is, but
Yeah.
that's because Ant has battled more.
I
That's
feel like
really
when Ant really finds his like lane that he like and really like settles in, he's gonna get a lot more dangerous than he currently is.
so
I feel
I
like he's
would
got a lot more potential than what he's showing right now.
so my thing is right when you're looking at battles and you're looking at like home field or home style advantage. I don't care if Wise had the main amount of people because I feel like I've already been in that space. Scripture was more popular than me when I battled Scripture, and the winner is
Yeah.
still me. I think the thing that people look for from me is the pen. Can I metaphorically and symbolically put someone down without using a 4-bar setup and make it entertaining? Because
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing. I don't have many 4-bar setups in almost any of my battles.
And that's a good thing. I mean, not that 4-bar setups are trash or anything, but if you can do it without them, why not?
Well, that's the thing. But then you don't captivate the crowd quick. So now you can think in my battles there are a lot of dry spots, but that's because I'm just loading like if you're someone like you who's been around since I've been around has been like, yo, this kid is loaded, like he's just
Yeah.
I mean, but for the most part, people aren't following or understanding because they're waiting for the punch. Because
Yeah.
I'm not punching so often. It's very like, I'm stitching something together. And when it's done and the 3 rounds are complete, then you see, oh damn, you know what I mean? So I usually do win on camera. With Dystopia, there was a certain energy that came with the bars. So Dystopia, like my favorite round from Dystopia, the round that I give him is the second. That's my favorite round. Aside from the first. The first round was great, but I give myself the first round
Yeah.
and I give myself the third round. So like the second round in that battle is like he was super dense. The crowd was surprisingly we were debatable for the battle of the night on a card where you're looking at like GS and
JDY. GS and
yeah
JDY was crazy.
yeah and you had what's that other one, Louis,
Oh yeah, Louis
Lou
Valentine and
Castro.
Beretta.
Yep.
Louis Valentine and Beretta. That was wild too.
And you know what I mean? And then you had like even the standouts that night. Fucking El Murder was, I mean, what did El Murder battle? Yeah, El Murder battled on that card.
Yeah, didn't he battle Manny Oap?
Yeah, and then Details battled someone too, and Details was amazingly good.
Yeah, he
know what I'm
battled Hilltop. Battled Hilltop on that one.
You know what I mean? So you had
Which
all
is
these
crazy because like that was like Hilltop's like 3rd or 4th battle or something, and he was battling Hilltop, or he was battling Details, and because Details is a pretty well known dude in the local scene, I feel like.
Yeah, Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, me and Details came in at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like he gets good looks, and I feel like he's a solid battle rapper. He's entertaining. So like to see Hilltop battle him, I felt like was a good look for Hilltop. And Hilltop did pretty good in that battle. It ended up being like a really good look from that night. Was a good look for a lot of people. I feel like there was a lot of good battles that happened at that event. A lot of people left
Right.
there happy, feeling like they're
So,
battling well.
so for me, right, like to be in that space and then to be complimented by the guys like I said, like I admired coming in, Wes Landry, you know what I mean, who I didn't even think was noticing me at any point in battle. I thought he, you know what I mean, like not to say he's like he thinks he's big, but like I never like when you look at some of these guys who I consider vets on a higher level, Dre Lights, who was there, Wes was there, um, these guys were like, yo, you fucking fired, bro. Like, you know what I mean? To get the especially because I don't hide, Mr. Hyde is another one. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're looking at it, like, damn, son, like these are the guys who I came in like, I bet, like these are the dudes right here that I've been trying, like, I'm chasing to battle at some point in my career, at some point before they move, or I have to get to this level to battle them in my own head. Um, that's where like you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Damn, like I'm doing something right, and clearly like what I'm doing makes sense, and that's why I don't think Wise can. I don't think it doesn't matter because I think in at the times ECCM, Dystopia was his main space. We noticed he was there. He knew, you know what I mean. So I felt like I got Wise, me going on that away run. I think coming back to Premier, when I do come back to Premier, it will be against. I do feel it'll be against someone I don't want to battle personally, but I feel like when I do go back to Premier, me and Premier have that conversation of who's next. Um, it will be. It's a different conversation
Yeah.
because it's like, all right, well, is Skoot the A side or is she the B side? And at the moment, I would say Skoot is genuinely not the favorite walking into any type of battle because as of recently, I've battled everyone who's more popular. Even the only battle that was even in popularity was me and Hollis. To be quite honest, every
Yeah.
other one like Dystopia had a better pen than me, or Scripture was a better writer than me. Scripture was claimed when people had him winning. Scripture was claimed to be the better writer. Then you had Dystopia was the better writer. Nino was well, nobody knew Nino, so but Nino's home league. You know what I'm saying? Like they had him winning the battle. Um, for the most part, I'm usually on the down when I'm on the downing side of a battle. I tend to win. I
Facts.
tend to win, and
Facts.
that's so I feel like Wise can have the Hulk on his team. He can have fucking Superman, the Hulk, and then mix up the Marvel DC universe and have all those guys, and I'll win with like Lex Luthor and fucking Joe Schmo, and I'll find a way to win. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I don't think I think what I bring to the table, people want to see, and people don't know what they're getting until they get it. And I think with me that is an important factor. Whereas Wise, who can get made fun of by Lex Luthor, is someone.
That was kind of silly though. I followed that whole thing. I
I
fuck with
couldn't
Lex, and
watch it.
I know why. I get why Lex did it, but like, damn, that was just silly. I didn't
Let
see
me let me
exactly what.
explain why I use that example.
Yeah,
Because for one, Lex Luthor, it was still great promo for Wise.
it was. A lot
It
of
was
people now
great
know
promo
about
for
King
him.
of the Five.
Not only that, everybody knows about Wise Uzumaki.
Yeah, facts.
And so like someone who has that much, like, let's just keep it 100. People probably tuned into the battle after that just to see if it was as bad as Lex said it was.
Yeah. I definitely tuned into one of the battles that he one of the other battles that he made fun of. I 100% tuned into it to see if it was as bad as he said it was. And I
and
mean,
so
it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't.
when you but that means that Wise is a lot more popular than me, right? In that sense. So
Yeah.
he can have all the superpowers he wants. the fact is, Skoot is a better battle rapper than Wise Uzumaki.
To be fair,
That's
though, in that same example, though, a lot of people that are watching that are gonna be attuned to automatically say, "Oh, that's that Wise kid. Oh, 3-0 to the other guy. That's that dude that Lex was clowning.
that's
3-0
only
to
that's
Scoop."
only if that's only if you're stupid enough to believe someone else's opinion without making your own opinion and an
A
opinion
lot
in
of people are though. A lot of people are
Uh, let's give local battle rap fans a little bit more credit, because I think local battle rap fans, when you're a local battle rap fan, you don't do that. When you are a mainstream battle, so if you only watch, like, all right, there are a ton of people who are like Arizona, Texas, New
Yeah.
York, who only watch URL and maybe RBE event, right? Let's
Yeah.
just say they're fans enough to watch RBE event. Nobody's watching, though. You know what I mean? Like B-list Battle League, for example. Nobody's
Yeah.
going down the list of like, like who's in We Go Hard, like who's in that next tier to come up to that smack event
Yeah.
from We
Exactly.
Go Hard. Nobody's going like people who you're like nobody's going. All right, like all right, I'm going down here to Hot Sauce Battle League. We're gonna see who's the fucking man from Hot Sauce and where are these battle rappers coming from. We don't see a lot of these battle rappers. We don't know where they came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, a
like
lot of these battle rappers that are still out there, they didn't come from like a small league, or like the URL will pull a WWE and like you can't mention a smaller league. You can't, like, you'll notice when they promo you on the URL, even if you say had 100 battles on King of the Dot and you were the current King of the Dot champion, they would promo you as, and he made his name coming up in smaller leagues. And so as far as like a fan that
well,
maybe doesn't
but
that doesn't know,
that's that's the beauty of, right. But that's why it's mainstream battle. Like, we're looking at this from the standpoint of like, of course, I'm not expecting the league to tell me where you came from.
well, they used to see. I like that they used to do that. When you watch the old Smack battles, if you watch the intro when they show their statistics, there's a section that says known from, and it'll say like Lions Den and street status or something.
Yeah,
Like,
because those things don't exist.
yeah, but at the time they did. At the time, well, actually, street status still exists. Street status is still an active battle league. They had an
Right,
event like last year, but
like
like,
Lions Den, we knew Lions Den and shit was like out the wind. Like, we knew
yeah,
that. So like we're talking like when they were coming up, yeah, that's when they were coming up. They weren't the conglomerate of battle rap as like they
yeah,
are right
exactly.
now. If we're talking like King of the Dot and
But I
RBE
feel like,
rival them at this point. So when we're talking like, no, I don't think URL is gonna give the clout, because that means you're gonna go watch King of the Dot for King of the Dot battle rappers. If a
no
King of the
facts.
Dot, you know what I'm saying? The only time they did that was with Pat Stay. Pat Stay is the only one they were like, and even with Pat Stay, they kind of they did it and they didn't do it.
Yeah, they did it in their way.
Yeah, they gave King of the Dot the props, but they didn't give them the props. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And that's something that, but again, that's why when we're talking, but when we're talking local fans don't do that. We go, okay, like, all right, this is one bad battle. All right, let's see what he did. You know what I mean? We might go Wazumaki and like, all right, I seen this one on Lex Luthor's joint. Let me go see what's going on over here. And
yeah.
and let's see what's going on over here in Premiere. Like, let's see what he's doing. Did he do good in this battle? Like, clearly he's getting booked.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it doesn't, I think, like in a way, local battle rap fans won't do that. But I think as he goes up, you know what I mean, if that was to resurface,
I feel
yeah.
like though there's not as many actual local fans. I feel like a lot of people are fans of their friend or their homie, and then I feel like there's not too many. Like, I came into the local scene, I didn't know anybody, nobody.
Right.
First battle I ever saw from New England that was on a New England based league would have been AR Vice versus Wes Landry, and that from Premiere. Maybe it's not AR Vice, but AR versus Wes Landry, not Adverse Reaction, but the other guy. Um, him versus Wes Landry from Premiere. It was like the first one that came up on their YouTube page, and like the first event I went to, I met Wes Landry. He just happened to be sitting out front. We chopped it up, And like that's how I got into like the local scene. I started watching it because I started watching Chilla. Once I got into battle rap, and then like he posted that he was going to be at a premiere event, so I figured I'd start checking out the local scene. Once I realized there was a local scene, because like a lot of at first I didn't even realize there was a local scene. I was into battle rap for a couple years before I even realized like, oh, there's a whole group of people that do this on a local level, like 5 minutes from my house, because I live
Right.
like 5 minutes from the Peabody venue that they do the premiere events at. So I was like, damn, they're
Right.
really doing this shit like 5 minutes from my house. They got Chilla Jones battling like 5 minutes from my house. I'm sleeping.
Right. I mean, even when my bad. I'm trying to
Nah, don't worry about it.
um, even when you look at like you're looking at like 40 bars, for example. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the material, even with that, was freaking. They had all these guys out there. This right here, 'cause this shit's crazy. Yeah. So, we jacked in. Hold on, let me just check something real quick. Oh, it didn't work, huh? All right. So yeah, just like with a lot of these other leagues, or I mean, a lot of these other situations, I didn't know either. I remember I looked it up on Google. I was like, yo, I was like, battle rap in Massachusetts. Like that's literally
Yeah.
and I
Actually,
was
you know
like,
what's funny? First thing that I ever saw when I looked up battle rap in Massachusetts, because I did do that at one point, was the 413 event where they had Uno Lavos come out. I saw, I don't know if he actually came out because I wasn't there for that event, but I saw the flyer for that and I was like, oh shit, they actually had a name come out. I know Uno Lavos.
right.
But then I realized that the 413 Battle League was like 2 hours from my house, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, no, not but see, like
But
that
shout out to
spawned.
413 because they have fire events. I just
That's
haven't been
right.
able to make it out to one yet.
I made it out to two. I want to say two. Two that I wasn't battling in yet. But yeah, I got to meet, Chris Casey. I got to meet, you know what I mean. That's how I got to meet John Dorsey, and then I found out that there was one closer, and then like we came to show out, and then like I was like, man, he's like, I'm gonna get you a plate, man. We're gonna do this, and I was like, I bet, and like that was the start of a beautiful relationship, just on the sense of, you know, what was happening. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's you don't really know until you know. Then I find like there's like 100 other leagues around. I'm like, damn, that I
Yeah.
fucking did ECCM, and
Leagues
then I
have been
fucking
popping up pretty heftily. I remember at first it was just iGrind, Premiere, 413, and ECCM when I first started getting into it. Now there's at least 2, 3 more leagues if we're counting University Studios as a league,
yeah,
which
there's a
I
lot.
don't know if I count them as a league, but they do throw events and they are cool people. I don't know if they count
I,
themselves as a league though,
I
or
think they. What was that?
you took a snapshot.
Oh shit! Oh, I officially feel never. I'm not even that old, but
But yeah, no, like there's a lot of leagues now. I feel like we might even see more pop up. I mean, and mind you, I just listed the leagues in Mass, so shout out to TBL because I didn't list them just now, but they were definitely around when I got into this. They're just down in Rhode Island. I don't get down to Rhode Island as often as I used to, but shout out to TBL as well. But now there's
yeah,
like leagues popping up all over the place. You never know when you're gonna see like and I feel like another problem that some of these leagues have though is they're not even able to market to their hometown crowds. Like I see Dicetopia for example. A lot of times he's posted that like Connecticut needs a battle league, right? Like a battle league where he can battle at home in Connecticut. I looked it up. There's 2 battle leagues in Connecticut. They're just not doing a good enough job marketing to someone that's one of the most well-known battlers from Connecticut. Neither of
well, I
those
mean,
neither of those 2 battle leagues have had Sawyer or Dystopia on them, and it's just like, all right, how are you gonna run a battle league in Connecticut and not book Sawyer?
because you have no idea, like you have no idea about Massachusetts and battles in Massachusetts.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
One thing about like you know what I mean, and it's not
you would
like everybody's going like,
if you're gonna run a battle league though, you'd think you would know who the best battlers in your home state are. Connecticut's not a huge state, and it's not that hard to look up Sawyer. He does stuff in Connecticut, like he did the bars on 995. He's done, like, I'm sure he's battled at the Trap in Connecticut and stuff. because they
Yeah.
do Trap NY events out there occasionally. Like,
Yeah. They do.
so I just remember thinking that it was crazy. There's 2 battle leagues in Connecticut. One of them was more active than the other, but still, there's at least one very active battle league in Connecticut. And there's battlers from Connecticut going, I wish there was a battle league in my state. What is that? Like, that battle league's obviously not doing something right, where they have a disconnect between some of the more well-known battlers in their state, thinking that there isn't even a league in their state when there is. They out there.
But
They
they're
just
not.
don't market
But
themselves.
we have to also understand too, like, I would have to look into the inception, like when they came in, like
Yeah.
when they, because I feel like they've been around for. I do know Dystopia talks about there's not enough battle leagues in
CT.
in CT, but I do also know that like there also aren't enough popular battles out there either. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got booked in Vegas. I'm so mad it didn't happen, but I did get booked in Vegas once.
There you go.
And I wish. I mean, I went out there. But I guess the event got canceled when I got out there. So it was. I went to Vegas. You know what I mean? So,
There you go. You at least went to Vegas though. Hope you had fun.
But yeah, I had a blast. I mean, I didn't pay for it, so
There
it's
you
a
go.
blast. But you know, like you looking at it from like the interesting standpoint of like why that is. I think CT, and there's more to do in Massachusetts. There's more work. There's more plates being given because
There-
there's more battlers in Mass than I would say in CT. Like I would assume that CT doesn't. Those battle leagues don't have many battle rappers that are going like, yeah, like I'm gonna enter the battle rap scene, or we're gonna do this on that. Like someone like Dystopia.
But like they could literally do a card with, let's say they brought out just Dystopia, Sawyer, and just DJ, 3 of the best dudes from CT right now. That card alone would propel their battle league to like a new level. And like even if they don't take it seriously, I mean, like that would create a more fun environment at your events. I mean, I guess if you're just in it to have, your homies battle your homies for fun, but then why are you recording it? Why does it matter? If you're not like serious, why bother?
Yeah, well, you look at like I look at like Mass, and I look at the Mass scene, and I look at I would hope that eventually that changes, but you got to look at it from the standpoint of who you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these battle rappers, I say like we stumble into people.
Facts. I mean, I don't even know about the leagues in Connecticut because I literally went on Verse Tracker, and I had to go on Verse Tracker, go to like their map that they have, and like zoom in on Connecticut because I was like, there's got to be a league in Connecticut. We got like 7 leagues in Mass, and lo and behold, there is. But like, it is kind of about networking. You never know who you're gonna meet, where you're gonna meet them, how you're gonna end up.
It's the same thing. Before. Oh man, what's the name of that battle league? Because I remember when It's funny. It's interesting how things work because there was a battle league in New Orleans before it was super hot.
Yeah.
That I got offered to go to. It's funny because they just Twerking Official just battled over there.
Nice.
I can't remember the league's name right now.
It's not Bayou Battle League, is it?
It is Bayou Battle League.
Okay, yeah, because I know they're from Louisiana.
And I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's weird how you say like, yo, because it's like when battle leagues want to reach out to you, they find you.
Yeah.
Barcode Battle League in Vegas, Bayou Battle League, they find you. When they want new talent and they think that your pen is nice, they find you. And I've had, you know what I mean, and that's why I said like for me, like I like the team thing. I never understood it. I never got it all the way. Because I feel like I've had a really fun career solo. If anything, they used to think me and Reckless was a team. And
yeah, at one point they definitely did at least thought you guys were like a team in the sense of like that's one of my best friends. We both got into this at a similar time, so we rocking out together right now.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy is we never said we wouldn't battle each other. The first thing that we said was, yo, we're gonna make it to a certain point in battle rap where the battle for the both of us makes sense.
Yeah.
So if Reckless kept battling and I kept battling and the goal was to be closest to the main event as possible. Scoot versus Reckless. Like, you're never gonna see it until both of us have that name in mass. Where it's like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and this is gonna be the battle that people want, not just that they want to see. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
the battle that's hyped
John.
up. The battle that's
Yeah,
like
I
really
mean,
hyped up.
yeah, like the promo would have been insane. Me and him would have gone back and forth, and I think, you know what I mean, just because there's a lot of people in Boston who want to see who's better. You know what I mean? And we've always been like, you know, I'm better than you. We'll leave it at we're even. But then when we got in a battle rap, it was like, I remember we had a face off in the car when Stratosphere, shout out Stratosphere, go watch that on the Boiler Room. Um, we had a mini debate about who was the better battle rap, and it was one of the most fun things I've ever done. Where we were like, yo, like, I'm a better writer than you. Not, well, you've lost. I haven't lost. You know what I'm saying? And we were going back and forth, and it was like, you know, we were really like, okay, like, do you really want to do this? Because we can do this. And it was like, he's like, nah, like, not yet. And it was like, all right, cool. And it's like, John, I remember John put out a fake card on the thing. He was like, yo, sometimes family fights. It was called Family Fights or something like that.
Yup.
It was Skoot Moesby versus Reckless, but we were at the bottom. It was like, nah, no, I wouldn't do this at the. It has to be.
On Premiere, it's because they got so many teams that, like, when they do if they were to do a card like Family Fights, there's so many matchups they could do. West versus
Oh,
J2,
absolutely.
Hyde versus GS, like Hyde versus AP, Gutta versus C4. I could just name
Gutter
battles
versus C4.
all
You know
day.
what's funny? I don't want to see Gutter versus C4. I want to see Gutter versus Jagger. That would be,
That would be
to me,
crazy.
that's the fight I want to see. Because I've been wanting to battle Jagger since he battled Scripture. Isn't it funny how, like, like,
Jagger's
um,
nice. I like Jagger. His Scripture battle, he had them
I
like
want to
9 minute
I
rounds
want
though.
I,
You gotta watch out for that. He'll show up with like 4 battles worth of material and spit all of it.
I know, but that's fine because I still think I can get dense with Jagger and it makes sense.
Yeah.
The same way I can get dense with Gutter, but I think with Gutter you got to take a different approach because she's just gonna bark on you for 3 rounds.
Facts. I mean, like, look what he did to fucking Memo once that battle drops. I mean, people will see. Like, no offense to Memo. I felt like that was a great battle. Memo did really well. But, like, Gutter's not just going to bark on you. Gutter will bully you if he can to any degree that he can. Like, Gutter really showed in that battle, like, when it comes down to it, you really have to approach him a certain type of way if you want to win. He was like, I don't know if you were there when the battle actually happened, but he did like a slam dunk on Memo. Where he had like some bar about being Vince Carter, and then he full on like body slammed Memo. Like he like dove into Memo. Like like Vince Carter dunked on him. Like it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
and then at another point he like pulled Memo's hat off, threw it on the ground. Like Gutta's gonna get physical with you. Gutta's gonna get loud with you. Gutta's gonna have He's gonna be raucous. He's gonna be rowdy, and like you're gonna have to deal with that. That. Whereas someone like Jagger, he's just gonna come with a lot of fucking bars, and he does have good performance. Don't get me wrong, but like it's a different approach. You'd
So yeah, like,
approach him different ways.
like, there's a lot of battles I would want to see from the team. Like, I mean, all the game changers are gonna battle each other anyway.
Yeah, they always battle each other. They
But
wouldn't
like
even
for
get
me,
on a card like family fights because they'd be battling each other on regular cards.
right? Like, I mean, I would want to see Josh Smith versus El Murder, Nino versus Ant versus
And versus Nino, it'd be kind of cool.
Ant would win. That's Ant would win.
Yeah, but at least it'd be
But
one of those ones where people would debate it for a while. I feel like.
they'd only debate it because they sound the same. I can't. All right, look, I can't
No, they'd
have
only
Nino.
debate it because there's no way that like one would let the other say that they won, even if they won clearly.
Yo, their online game is annoying. If there's one thing they do well is like piss someone off online. They are really good at that. They are in everything. Let's talk about how I beat you. I beat you. I'm like, man, I
That
already like this.
But
last year you're still crying. Like, you're still crying, but you getting your ass whipped. God damn, relax. It's over. Like, it's over. You took your ass and took your lickings. It's okay. Go ahead and move on to the next thing. And I think they're so like even Ant is really good at being like Ant put me on. He's like, oh, the next guys I want. And I see my face on it. And I was like, Ant, simmer down, son. Like, look, the boiler room got you going in a nice trajectory. Don't run into me. There's two people you don't want to run into in the
if
boiler room,
Ant
and that's me
keeps
and
doing
Hollis.
well with the way he promos, I feel like he can make a nice little name for himself because he's good at promo. It's sort of like S. Dot. He's one of the best at promo as far as I'm concerned.
Him and Nino, like I said, him and Nino are the two most aggravating people in the boiler room when it comes to that. They all they do, and it's entertaining, but it's like, man, I don't have time to argue with you two. Like, I actually have a job.
Yeah,
I
but as a fan, like someone like that doesn't battle sees that and like it's constantly putting Ant Keefe's name in your head, right? Like I've
right.
watched Ant Keefe battle simply because I've seen him comment so many times that I was like, all right, this guy's either the worst battle rapper ever or he's legitimately good. So I definitely went and peeped some of his battles. I like some of his shit, and
I,
like
I like a lot of his shit. I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie. And,
when he's on point, he's on point.
you know what I mean? But again, but you look at the him and Wise battle, for example, and you look at him and like Wicked was one of the. I think him and I think Wicked. Oh man, if we could really get into it, like Wicked is someone I want. Like I wanted to battle just because he's. I think he's. I think he's. I think he's dope, and I think he has so much to. He's so creative. I think people don't realize like he's been. I feel like in some way he's been overlooked, like super heavily. I don't know how. Like there's so many. Like as far as talent wise in the boiler room, Wicked should be like at the top of the echelon. You know what I mean? Like, and he's not, and it sucks because there's
I
so
feel like
many.
the Boiler Room needs like 2, 3 more events before their roster really settles into their like positioning. I feel like right now they haven't had
Nah,
a
they've had too. They've had too many, bro. They've had too many events, and now you have to start putting these guys in a ranking order because there's no way you can like if you like when you look at
but
it from
like
the
have they even had like 10 events yet though? Because they've had like what
no,
like 5 events maybe,
probably 5, 6, 6,
and
6.
like you got to think some of the people that are on their roster have probably only battled on like half of those events, if that.
That's true, but see, all right, someone like Shizzy. Let's go back to the fact that I'm
Yeah.
battling Shizzy, right? Shizzy's had 5 different battles everywhere. He's had 5 different battles. He's battled on NBA. He's battled on Boiler Room twice. He's battled on 4-1. His first trial was 413, and so those that he battled on King of the Five.
Yeah.
So at this point, Nino's another one. He hasn't battled on every card, but he battled me. He battled Hollis. You know what I mean? And has had a good amount of battles too. Ant's been on almost every Boiler Room card, if not every Boiler Room card. So these guys are battling. They're
Yeah.
battling, and at this point, you have to start saying, okay, in its early makings of what we're going to consider star at the Boiler Room, you have to put these. You have to start ranking these guys one by one because that's what they you don't get at Premiere. You don't get you walk into Premiere, you say you're a Premiere rap battler, you're immediately ranked. It does not
Yeah.
matter if you battled once, twice, 5, you are immediately ranked. Okay,
But
so like
Premier is also solidified as a league, and their rankings, they have a lot to base that off of. So they can easily throw you at the bottom of the rankings because they have a whole ranking. Because like there's dudes on Premier that have like 10 Premier battles, and they have a win loss record that is like that's actually relevant. It's like a
but if
large.
you come in like a guy like me and Reckless, right? You come in, we had each 3 different we've battled I've battled 3 times, Reckless has battled twice,
Yeah.
right? In Premiere, Reckless would be considered above me as far as the ranking, the idea of what the ranking is. People are saying like when Reckless forgets, like yo, Reckless needs a veteran. He needs someone who's been in Premiere for a long time. Someone like GS, someone like Saint, someone like what I mean, who's had a certain amount of battles. C4, right? he needs someone that he can clash with that's gonna make the battle what it is. If you're looking at the ranking as far as, you can say like they've now grouped people into sections. Why Uzumaki even though he lost his first battle in Premier, he was still ranked a certain way. It's only one battle. So my thing is like, even if you go to like NBA, you go to like 413, you go to like, these guys are all solidified in their ranking styles, and Boiler Room has a ranking style as well. The difference is where they're like, everybody just goes, okay, we were like, oh, well, it's fun over here at the Boiler Room. Let's just have some fun. And that's a great way to be in Battle Rock, because I think it works for ECCM. I think ECCM, but ECCM also has a ranking system.
I have a problem with the No Coast New England ranking system. Shout out to ECCM, now known as No Coast New England. They have the fans vote, right, for their ranking. They have the fans vote. But, and this is my only problem with it, I love the fan vote idea. I think that's fire. They let the fans vote on who's number one, though, when clearly Beretta Broke is number one. I just got to say this one more time. I say this all the time. The champ is number one. I don't care if 100 fans vote the champ as number two. You got to see the champ to be the champ. You got to go see Beretta Broke. Like, CJA can be number one on every list that they put him on. They could put CJA on 100 lists as number one. He's still got to beat Beretta Broke to be number one, though. He's still not the champion. He's still got to beat Beretta Broke. He's still just the number one contender. Not number one. He's the number one contender. Everybody's still gunning for Beretta Broke because they gave him a title. It's not just, oh, I'm number one in my league. It's, I'm the champ. This is my shit. You want this to be your shit? You want this to be your league? You want to be Mr. ECCM? Come say what up in my office and try to beat me. Like, you got to beat Beretta Broke in a judged battle in order to say you're number one in ECCM as far as I'm concerned, or No Coast New England.
I think that's a fact, but we're looking at it from the standpoint of everybody has a ranking system, right? Yeah. And we're seeing like Beretta Broke may not be the most popular, but he can clearly win.
To be fair, he isn't like, I think the last rankings for this year had him at number 2, but it's just like, that just goes by, okay, CJ might be a little more popular, but again, no matter what, it all comes down to, and CJ has said this, got to see Beretta Broke.
But my main thing, right, is, so now we got to start, even King of the Five, they have a ranking system for their guys. Yeah. We know who the top guy is there.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a league, at least on an internal scale, you kind of have to, because you need to be able to determine who you want to push.
So that's where I'm at with the Boiler Room. I'm just pushing it more to the forefront. These guys are ranked. If we're like, we can put Fluid Hilltop on that list, although they're not really on that list. And does Nino compare to Hilltop? And if he does, can we say Nino is at the top of that echelon? Recently, Hollis has had 2 battles on Boiler Room. If we can, like, who is roster there? You know that Ant's roster.
I feel like that's what they need to do to start. If they want to like really put out a ranking system, they need to put out like even if it's like people that might battle on other leagues, you just put out what you consider your roster as a league, like. And because like there's a lot of dudes that battle on No Coast New England, right? A lot of dudes that battle on ECCM that also battle on other leagues that like GS for example. He's definitely ECCM family, No Coast family, but he's on the Premier roster. But you could also arguably say he is on the No Coast New England roster. I mean, maybe not officially because he's on the Premier roster, but like he battles heavily on No Coast New England.
Well, you can say the same thing about me and the Boiler Room. He would be ranked.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you can say the same thing about me in the Boiler Room, where it's like Boiler Room, I battle mainly at the Boiler Room. I fuck with Knowledge heavy. You know what I mean? But I am always I am Premier roster. The main, but if you did that, I'm number 1. Yeah. Who has more popularity than me in the Boiler Room as far as a roster guy? I mean, I've only battled there technically. I've only battled there twice if you count Isolation. But if you're saying that, I am the top guy. You take, I can take anybody in the Boiler Room and win. And not only that, I can make them popular. You see Skoot Moesby on the card, a lot of people from other leagues are going to pay attention. You know what I mean? Like, a DK is gonna like, you know what I mean? Someone like a DK
He
is gonna
might
say,
actually be the top guy though, especially considering that like Iraq is now no coast New England roster. Like they made the announcement on that, and so is AR. Adverse, he's also on no coast New England now. He's no longer on Boiler Room. So like that's two of the dudes that may have been considered in their top five. That
right.
they may have said these are two of our top five dudes. And with them not being on Boiler Room anymore, that shakes up their rankings a little bit. That opens up spots for like other people to try to
So
prove I deserve to be in your top five.
let's just say I'm repping both Boiler Room and Premier.
There
Let's
you
go
go.
there. Then it's, you ask me, then it's me. Oh, that's it. Me, Hollis, and
I'd put Ankeef in their top five.
and
He
Keith.
might not be like the best battler in the world, but like as far as Boiler Room goes, he puts on for him. He's good.
Well, they have a
And
top three. I would say there's a top three because you can't. After that, everybody else can fight for the other 2 5 spots because
yeah,
the I can't remember her name, but the lesbian girl's dope. She's cool. You have, you know.
it gets hard to do a ranking system though without wins and losses, and that's always.
Well, it's based on the opinion of the battle. It's based on the opinion of the community at this
We don't
point.
even
Like,
really like take polls like that. Like, all right, on the Smack app, they do literally base wins and losses off the community votes because you're literally voting while you're watching the battle. You're voting on bars and all that, like with the different like fire
but you
emojis.
can tell
Yep.
who's but it's who brings the attention to, like, if you ask me, I nobody was thinking of the Boiler Room until I walked into the Boiler Room. If you're looking at from the Nino standpoint, like when I battled Nino, right? Me and Nino had the most promo for a battle other than Scavs versus Iraq. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of battles on that card. If we're being honest, if I hadn't said anything about Nino wouldn't be anywhere. If I hadn't said anything about, like, at the time I had tagged Antonio. Like, there was a whole post where I tagged Antonio and I tagged Premier Rap Battle League, and you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a whole lot of like people like, what the hell is, you know what I mean? A lot of people didn't even know. Like, Dystopia would come up to me and ask me like, yo, you know, so what's it like at the Boiler Room? Nobody was asking Nino or Iraq those questions. I feel like when you look at the bigger leagues, those high episodes of talent, the reason why they're anywhere near me is because I was there. And I had started my promo run there. After the whole Mark Black battle, I had started the promo run for me and Nino. So you're looking at it from if you're looking at it from one standpoint to another, I still am, even if you look at who, like when AR did his he did a diss video where my name was immediately in it. You couldn't argue any, like, when you look at, like, when I want to perform and I want to get in the ring and I want to knock somebody's ass on the ass, I bring attention to what people are doing. Most of the battle rappers that we're talking about, especially in the Boiler Room, they don't get to shine until they see me. And there's a lot of battle rappers aren't going to get the shine until they see me. Hilltop, like Hilltop is one of those guys I would love to battle, but you're not going to get, like, you're still under Josh Smith and Jordan. I haven't seen you make a name for yourself yet. You got your ass whooped by Detail.
Hilltop needs that breakout performance, I feel like.
And until
right
then,
now.
And I'll watch him from a distance, and he'll come to me when it's time to. But there's a lot of
want to
battles
see him
like that.
fluid in the 2-on-2 though that they're supposed to do once all this Corona's over. They had a 2-on-2 scheduled. I feel like that's where he's gonna shine.
Him and Fluid would be an amazing 2-on-2.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna really both have a breakout performance when they finally get to do that 2-on-2.
But to me, right, you still got to do it on your own.
No, you do. But sometimes you can make a name for yourself 2-on-2 and then make a name for yourself solo. Like if you look at like one half of the Twins kind of made his name doing 2-on-2s, whereas the other one had been battling slightly longer. I always get them confused. Sorry, Cam and Ryan, but I get y'all confused all the time, Saint and Doe. So one of them was like locked up for a little bit, and the other one had started battling, so he kind of made a little name for himself. But then his brother got out, and they started doing the 2-on-2s, and that's why there's always the debate of are the twins good as solo battlers? Well, I feel like they proved that after they proved that they could beat any 2-on-2 team in New England.
Yeah, but you still have to look at it from the standpoint of that's because of circumstance, not
Yeah.
any fault of their own. Saint
No.
definitely made a name for himself that was in a one-on-one setting.
Yeah, and at this point they
No,
definitely both have
Doe
proven
made a number one name for
Yeah.
himself in that setting. Saint is coming in like you're seeing the level of like he's at the same level, and if you really was to mark the pins in the same place, you would think I would say Doe's probably a better puncher.
Yeah, but that's why they mesh so well together. Is
because one can scheme their ass off, and the other one has the punch of a fucking fucking god. Like he can.
Yeah, I legitimately feel bad for any team that's gotta battle them as a 2-on-2.
And then you have the fact that they both they freestyle and they trust each other to make the right calls when it's time. So then you have that chemistry
The Twins are one of those teams that you gotta see live to like really fully understand. It's sort of like until I saw Twerk versus Mr. Hyde live in the building, I didn't quite get why Twerk was so liked by everybody. Like I did, I was like, all right, this guy's nice, but like they're hyping him up like he's the next Lux. After seeing him live, the way he controls and captivates a crowd, from like the first words out of his mouth, the way he brought, first off, Twerk literally packed a room in New England with people that I don't even think are Battle fans, didn't even realize that was a local New England league. There was so many people in there. There was some people in there that were like, oh, you mean to tell me y'all do this all the time? Not just when Twerk comes out? No, we do this like once a month. Oh, for real? I only heard about this because of Twerk. Twerk brought out a ton of people. He brought a different type of energy. The Twins, they bring that same type of energy, I feel like, as a 2-on-2, where like when you see them, they start controlling the room, and like, dude, they've gone to like places where they should not have been getting reaction, like just based off the fact that was hostile enemy territory. Maybe not they shouldn't have, but like they've been to like We Go Hard and gotten reaction. They've been out to like other leagues. They've traveled. They've gone out to like Bar Wars.
I've seen that one.
They'll go out to your home league, beat you and your best friend in front of the rest of your best friends, and have the rest of your best friends screaming for them. It's crazy. It's crazy. Because like I didn't believe at first. The first couple times, like I had seen, I think I had seen like Doe solo or something like that, and I was like, they're nice, but like I gotta see something, because they were saying before I had seen them battle 2-on-2, they were already saying like, yo, we're literally the best 2-on-2 team in battle rap. Like, get us gun titles, get us Marvin Quest. They were very cocky, very cocky. And now that I've seen them 2-on-2 enough times, I can honestly say maybe they're not the best 2-on-2 team in all of battle rap, but if you were to give them like a big name, they show out. When they showed out against Prep and Dre and Prep, like they'll show out, give them a big name, and they will actually like put their money where their mouth is and show up in a battle against a big name, I feel like.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not
Go ahead.
Yeah, whether or not that actually happens it remains to be seen. I feel like King of the Dot might do that at some point. Once they get to the point where they're on the main page for King of the Dot, we could actually potentially see them against a Marvin or Quest. Maybe not at gun titles. I feel like getting a battle with gun titles would be really difficult, because like they'd have to first get on the URL. Then gun titles really only battles at Summer Impact or Double Impact or whatever they're calling it nowadays. But so like getting a battle with gun titles is kind of difficult, just because they don't battle like 2-on-2 teams, or they battle all-star teams like from different, like at different events. Like Hollow and Loaded Lux isn't a 2-on-2 team, that's an all-star team. And that's like the type of people gun titles battles, whereas I feel like they could actually get a battle with Marvin Quest if they got like to the King of the Dot main page. That's something where Marvin Quest will battle like a 2-on-2 team, someone that's a solidified 2-on-2 team.
Right.
Because we see what happened when gun titles battled NWX. That was very debatable. Granted, I mean, gun titles arguably took that, but so I feel like they want to go. I feel like URL is going to market gun titles more against teams like Loaded Lux and Hollow, or like maybe a Calico Murder Mook type shit. before
Yeah.
they let like a up and comer get a shot at them.
Well, you have like they'll back. I think with Saint Doe and like tag team, I think there will be I hope to see one day that we see like a tag team, a real tag team division ish.
I feel like it's starting to come together because like you look at like stuff like Danger and Piff forming the Brothers of Destruction. Um, we haven't seen them do a 2-on-2 yet, but like I know I've seen them spar as a 2-on-2 team, like outside of events and stuff. I've asked them to hit me with a couple bars here and there, and they're gonna do well as a 2-on-2 team. They've already done well before Piff even battled. He used to be like the dude that would jump into like Danger's battles to do little things like when Danger would be like, ask me why. Piff will come out and be like, why? And like they have a good chemistry already in
Right.
that sense. So I feel and like Fluid and Hilltop, that's another team. That's another to be
But
debut
I mean,
team.
I've seen glimpses of that. Yeah, you if you watch Josh Smith versus uh was it
Well, with Killer Chris, yeah,
Killer yeah.
when Fluid jumped in, that one was I liked
Well,
that.
but if you looked right, it wasn't even Josh Smith disappears. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, to be fair,
it's fluid. Then you have the hilltops, the shotgun, best friend hit me the shotgun. Yeah, they have it. They you know what I mean? They
yeah.
have it. But like hopefully, but my biggest thing I think
Or
with
like the Manny Oop and Beretta Broke, another 2-on-2 team that's coming up that we're gonna be seeing more of soon.
yeah, like, I mean, I feel like Jordan Wright and Josh Smith have the same. They have the same.
They could. I feel like they could. Them versus
They really
Beretta
could.
and Manny
Have
fight.
they could do it, and their styles. That'd be the most unorthodox 2-on-2 you'd ever see. Because Jordan is so, and John's so
Yeah.
laid back and cool. Like you know what I mean. It would be an interesting 2-on-2. So you're looking at like there's a lot. There's a lot of like me and Dystopia could probably do a 2-on-2.
That'd be
Me
pretty
and
fire.
me and Hollis could probably do a 2-on-2.
I mean, anyone can do a 2-on-2. I feel like if you can just
But
sit
is
down.
it gonna be good?
Yeah, that's the question.
Is the chemistry, is the mindset gonna be? And I think it can be. I think if I feel like me and Reckless would be the best 2-on-2.
Of course,
Because,
because you guys know
because
each other well enough to where it would work out. And
yeah,
that's
we not only
main.
that, like the way we formulate bars is the way we understand each other's work patterns.
Yeah.
And so the way we think, the way we write, it might be different, but the work pattern is the same. You know what I mean? Like we spar together a lot. Even now, like I can call him on the phone and just go, "Hey yo," and, you know what I mean? We know what time it is. There's a different level of, you know what I mean, chemistry as far as how battles are going to be, who you're going to be put up against and why. You know what
I'm
I'm
hoping
saying?
to see a lot of 2-on-2 battles in the future.
I mean,
There's not,
I think honestly, 2021, you're going to see a whole lot more of them.
I
You're
think
going
you
to see
will
a
because it's
whole
a good
lot.
change from what we've been seeing. And there's a lot of people that want to try it. Like I know Jaga and Gutta have been talking a little bit
That's
every now and
another
again.
good. That's
Yeah,
another
about doing a 2-on-2. They've been saying here and there like, oh, we could definitely do a 2-on-2 because they spar together all the time. Like they're always sparring together. They're really good friends. They've known each other for a while. So like stuff like that definitely creates room for really good 2-on-2s. I feel like the bartenders is another group that could probably put together a decent 2-on-2. Maybe Wes and J2, or like when Louis Loaf gets out, Louis Loaf and J2 could be fire. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. There's a lot of room for like they could do a whole
I
card.
mean, there's
They
two
did
on
it
twos
once.
that exist. Like you had the Dre Lights and Hoodie Kruger was another one.
Yeah, actually, that would be a great 2-on-2. I've seen Dre Lights jump into a hoodie round at Premiere, and like I feel like they would do really well together. Just especially just watching them, like if you're at like say an iGrind event and you happen to like see Hoodie and Dre hanging out together, dude. Like the last event, they were literally just standing there like vibing, dancing, like chilling. At the last, they looked like they were like they would be a good 2-on-2 team off rip. They
Yeah.
looked like they were just having fun as friends and that they would be a good 2-on-2 team. They were both like well prepared for their battles and they were just rocking out.
So like you know what I mean as
Free
far as
Hoodie,
like
by the way, free Hoodie.
facts. So like I look at like I have like to me, it's like I mean I don't think I'll ever really do a 2-on-2. It'd take a lot for me to do a 2-on-2 because
Yeah.
I don't I prep relatively like depends on how excited I am, but I do prep relatively late. So like I'm a late prepper. It takes me 2 weeks to think of the concept, like just to sit down and write the concept alone, then to get into the bars, and
That's the
then
thing with 2-on-2. You really have to like determine what direction you want to go with your 2-on-2. Because like a lot of 2-on-2s that I see, I'm not as impressed with because they'll do like the one 2-on-2 format I really can't stand is when it's like, all right, I'm gonna spit like a 16, then stop, then you're gonna spit your 16, stop, and like just essentially trading off. Whereas like something more like what the Twins does, I'm a little more impressed with where they do like the back and forth like it's just a lot of teams make it feel like they're not working together, where they make it feel like it's more just two dudes rapping almost
right.
separately against the same opponents.
Well, I feel like the way because 2-on-2s used to be like that. They used to be like one
Yeah,
person would have
exactly. Like in
to
like
be done.
Scribble Jam and like even in Grind
It
Time and
used to
stuff.
be like that, but now I feel like because you credit to K Shine DNA. You see that like now you can open up the field a little bit more
A
and
lot
then
more creative.
and you can and because of that like you have a level of like boom 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Like now you have 2 3 different people doing the same thing.
K-Shine and
Yeah,
DNA really innovate, I feel like, when it comes to their battles.
and
Like they did the thing when they were out in London where DNA was like a doctor and K-Shine was a mental patient. And like
now yeah against
that wasn't my favorite thing that
Hitman
they did.
Hitman and Verb.
Yeah,
Hitman and Verb.
wasn't my favorite thing that they did, but the fact that they can get creative and do something like that in a two
Yeah,
on
that's definitely
two
it's
is
awesome. But
interesting.
even with that, like if you look at how Hitman and Verb ended up doing 2-on-2s when they battled um, DNA and K Shine, it was like, oh man, like boom, like they had this they had a conversation.
Yeah.
They were doing the conversation thing. But when you look at when they went to Smack and did it, and then they had like the hold up, let me remix it, and then the just the way they started to let the other one kind of play the roles that they want to play. I think people have to realize like, yo, what's your role